the Kayfun Lite 2019 version. Let's have a look. Hey guys, Vick here, back with another review. Today we are looking at this, the Kayfun Lite 22 and 24, and it's the 2019 version of the Kayfun Lite. So what is it? What's going on? Okay, so as you all know, for a long time, the Kayfun Lite Plus has been considered one of the best mouth-to-lung RTAs for years and years and years. In fact, Grim Green very recently did 5 years with the Kayfun Lite video. So it's been around for a long time, and it's still regarded as one of the best mouth-to-lung vapes around. Kayfun Smovesto have decided to release a new 2019 version of the Kayfun Lite. There's two versions of it. There's the 22, the Kayfun Lite 22, which is what I have here, a 2ml capacity, 22ml wide tank. They also have an exact same one that's the Kayfun Lite 24, and that is exactly the same aesthetics and the way it works and everything, but it is 4ml capacity and it's 24ml wide. So those are the two versions. As well as that, for the first time from Smovesto, within very short time of this being released, this will be available with a wide variety of extras. There's going to be a whole set of bubble tanks, fire and ice bubble tanks, so you can have Ultim tanks, bubble glass, or you can have the standard frosted or clear, you know. So, and there's going to be two types of them, one that gives you a bigger capacity and one that just looks cool, like a lot of guys have done with their Kayfun Lite over the years. So you're not going to have to wait and rely on aftermarket for that this time. Kayfun, Smovesto are going to have those out ready in time this time. Loads of cool tanks as well, showing you pictures on screen of those. So that's really cool. So what have they changed from the original version to this one? Well, the looks have changed. It's sort of much classier, much more 2019 looking. It's all very clean lines. It's short and stumpy. The drip tip's shorter and all that sort of thing. The whole thing feels more compact and neat and polished. They've changed the look. They've also changed the airflow control on here as well. The airflow control is very unique, very original. So what they've done is they've put a nylon pin inside the 510 pin, and you put a flathead screwdriver and you can turn it, tighten it or loosen it inside the 510, set it up how you like it, and then just put it back on your thing, set it and forget it, like they say. With mouth-to-lung vaping, you know, once you've got your airflow how you want it, you're not going to be tweaking it all the time. So a really clever touch. I'll show you that down low. The way that you fill it has changed as well. That was a real bugbear on the original Kayfun. At the time it seemed okay, but these days the fact that you had to unscrew a screw to fill it and had to use a syringe or a very neat bottle or whatever to fill it, that was a real drawback. They've changed the filling method on this. It doesn't have top fill, which some people will be disappointed with, but it does have a very easy way of filling. You just unscrew it from the base and pour it down and put the base back on, put it back on your mod, and it is very simple and very easy to do, and you can do it with any kind of bottle now. I'll show you that down low. It is a lot simpler than it was. They have also changed the deck. The deck, the way you mount the coil isn't massively different to the original Kayfuns, but they've changed the way the actual deck works in terms of wicking. Now it's so super simple. You don't have to do any sort of fancy S or packing it against the wall or anything like that. You'd literally just stuffing it down the channels now, because they've added a whole dome around the deck. So it's very clever. I'll show you that down low. It makes it just completely foolproof. In terms of wicking, it's completely foolproof now, and I'll show you that when we go down low, which we might as well do straight away. Let's go. Alright guys, here we are down low with the Kayfun Lite 2019. I have the 22 version. There is the 24 version as well. They're very similar, apart from their width and their capacity. We'll go over all that up top, but this is the packaging for the 22 one. Here it is. Usual kind of Smovesto styling. Very good though, very nice packaging. Opening her up, you get your box in your box, and in here you get all your spares, your O-rings, your little guide and what have you, and all that. One thing to note about in this pack is you will need that straight away, because as you first get this, the screws are not in the deck. So the actual post screws are not in the deck when you get it straight out of the box. So you will be needing that little sachet straight away to get to your post screws. Okay, so here it is. This is it. Kayfun Lite 2019 version. Looking very nice. IMO, very pretty in my opinion. Love the styling. I think the 24 one looks very neat as well. So we've got your classic Kayfun Lite Plus air hole, but with a big difference this time. We have adjustable airflow through this bottom pin. You get a flathead screw, and you put it in here, and you can turn the nylon screw that's in the 510 to adjust the airflow. So now you can see it. There's the screw. It's a nylon screw, and that is what is adjusting your airflow. So when it's fully down like this, that's quite loose. It creates a very loose mouth to lung draw, and yeah, so that's it in very loose mouth to lung mode. But I have it nice and tight. I screw it right down to get that almost classic. I have it really low down like that to create that almost classic Kayfun Lite original draw. So there we go. So that is the adjustable airflow. Very, very nice touch. Obviously, with this kind of thing, with mouth to lungy type things, you know, it's not the kind of thing where you're going to be changing your airflow a lot, you know. So you set it and forget it, you know. Set it up, put it on. There's no, because it's a nylon screw, there's no issues with shorting or anything like that. And yeah, it's very clever. It's a very good idea. That I can't think of any sort of drawbacks or issues with that style or system. So there we go. Starting back at the top, we've got our Smovesto Kayfun drip tip up here. It's shorter than it used to be. It is still just a traditional 510 drip tip, but it's nice and short, sort of modernised. Yeah, I really like it. Really nice drip tip indeed, and it fits really nice. Fits really nice in there. So that is that. You've then got your top cap, your glass section here. I say glass. Obviously it's Ultim section there. Then you've got this bottom bit here, and what you do, the obvious next question is how do you fill it, and what you do there is you turn it upside down, unscrew this very bottom part, and you literally just throw your juice in there. Throw your juice in there. If you've got the 22 one, it's 2 ml capacity, and then you just pop it back on and screw it up. Put it back on your thing and you're away to go. So it doesn't have top fill, and some people won't be happy about that. It doesn't have juice flow control. Some people might not be impressed with that, but for me this is the side of Kayfuns and Smovestos that I love. When they make it all simple, when it's still a great vape but it's super simple. For me, turning it upside down and screwing that off is not much harder than the top fill, so I have no issue with that at all really. So there we go. Okay, so that's the basics. That's what you needed to know in terms of up closey stuff. Let's actually get stuck into the deck. So they have made some changes here as well. So the deck now looks like this. Now the way you actually mount your coil hasn't changed a super massive amount, but it looks completely different down here. Now the reason for that is they've actually made it so it's now a cap here. And so all you have to do with your cotton for wicking is just stuff it down each side. So you're still placing your coil on top here, but now you're just mounting it. You're just mounting it on there and then stuffing your cotton rather than building up a little bridge against each side. really simple, but effectively it's that traditional Kayfun style of mounting a coil. You split your leads either way, right over the top of the airflow. Happy days. So there we go. So that is the deck now as well. I think it is easier. I think it is easier to wick now. It was always easy to mount a coil, but yeah, very simple to mount a coil as well. Screws are a bit better. The gaps between the posts are a bit better as well. So it's all nice and easy. Let's pop a coil in. Okay, so I've got the coil mounted in there now. That's just about as big a coil as you'd want, really. 3mm ID, 7 wraps. Yeah, I guess it's but it comes out about 1 ohm. I quite like this style of coil, so it's what I'm going to go with. Obviously, put in whatever you like, but yeah, that's what I've gone for in here. You're giving it a little warm up and all that sort of stuff, so ready to wick up. But yeah, mounting the coil. The only thing I would say about mounting the coil is try and get your leads as insanely well clipped off here as possible. You don't want any lead overhanging onto the chamber on here. You don't want to create a short in that way, so do be super careful with that. Try and trim them down as much as possible, or even pre-cut them if you can once you get used to the tank. So yeah, that's the only thing I would say about that. But yeah, let's wick this up. Okay, so I've put my cotton in now. I'm going to put it down the channels. There's really nothing to this. All I would say is you'll be surprised how insanely small amount of cotton you need. This is even too much that I've got now. Yeah, you just need a tiny bit down each side, really, just like the old one. You basically just fill in that little hole. My scissors are rubbish. But yeah, you just want a tiny bit of cotton down each side, really. So we'll just stick it in. So that's it. That really is it. You just literally just popping it down each side, trying not to stuff it in, but just sort of put some in each side, really. So yeah, so you're just stuffing it down each side without stuffing it down too much, really. You're just placing it down each side, you know. But there we go. So that is that. Nothing to it. Absolutely nothing to it. There's not going to be anyone struggling to wick this thing, I guarantee it. I'm only using syringes because I just happen to have them to hand. You can use that, bottles, anything. Very, very easy. It's very, you know, and though it's not top fill, it's very much the same system as a top fill in terms of how it looks and how you drop juice in. Popping it on like that. Screwing it up. And there we go. We're back together. All built up, all wicked up, juiced up. Let's go up top, vape it, and give some pros and cons on this. Let's go. Okay guys, that was the Kayfun Lite 2019 down low. Really cool, really cool, really cool changes that they've made. Really clever the way they've done certain bits. Now the airflow, let's just get into the airflow. So right now I've got it pretty loose. I've got it opened out quite a lot. It's quite close to the edge, and it's pretty much as open as it gets. And this is how it vapes when it's this open. Very loose, you know, very loose. They say that technically it's about 0.4 millimeters at its tightest and 1.8 at its widest. So I guess this is close to the 1.8 side, but it's very loosey, sort of mouth to lung, but still has that genuine mouth to lung restriction and feel to it, but a very loose one. If I then stick my flathead in, tighten this down to where I've been doing it, tighten it down like that, pop it back on. There's no way, by the way, that this pin can ever back out while you're putting it on and off. It just can't. It's just completely independent from the actual connection that is being made. So there we go. So yeah, so this is now how it's more traditional tightened up. Lovely tight mouth to lung vape. Great flavour, great vape. The vape, for all the changes and all that sort of stuff, the vape is the same in my opinion. I think it's super tasty. I recommended this as the mouth to lung tank, the original Kayfun Lite Plus, as the go-to mouth to lung tank for about 3 or 4 years. That's how good a mouth to lung vape it was. And the vape hasn't changed a lot in my opinion. I think it's still that stellar mouth to lung vape. I think it's a lovely flavour and all that sort of stuff. I think it's a great vape. The actual vape hasn't changed that much. What they've done is they've made it a bit sexier, they've styled it up nicer. I think it's just sort of better made all over. The standards have changed a lot in the time between the two versions, so this one just feels very 2019 in machining and looks and style. And then they've made it all way more convenient as well. So the airflow adjustment is a really nice touch. It's really clever. Once you've set that to your personal style, you're never going to change it again. So it totally plays well that it's not on a turn here. It makes total sense to me that that's how they've done it. I think it works great. No issue with the airflow at all. I really like it set like this. Great. This vape's great, and I'm never really going to be changing that, so I'm happy with that. So that's very clever touch. The filling, I know some people are going to dig it out for not having top fill. Most tanks have top fill these days, but again, it is super easy. It is super easy. You just unscrew the tank from your mod. Got it on the Maximus, by the way, looking great on here. Turn it upside down, unscrew this deck piece, and you can just use whatever bottle you want. You just dump straight down there like you would with top fill anyway. You can use, a dripper bottle, you can use a big bottle, just pour it straight down, tighten it back on, put it back on your mod, and you're away again. So it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. It is their light version, so it is their simplified version. For me, rather than go down the Kayfun 4 route and the Kayfun 5 route of having loads of different parts, loads of moving parts, juice control, top fill, adjustable top cap, all those little extra machining, all those extra parts, I prefer this. I prefer the light. I prefer the simplified. I'd rather turn it upside down and remove all of those other moving parts and have it like this. This would be my preference over and over again. So yeah, it doesn't have top fill, but it's a lovely vape. It's an absolutely lovely vape, and I think it's easy to fill up. I think it is easy to fill up. No issues, in my opinion, there. So a cracking mouth to lung vape, really cool looking. There's the 22 and the 24 size versions. If you're in the UK TPD area, obviously it's going to be the 22, the one that you can get hold of, because that is the TPD 2mm capacity one. This was sent to me by Creme de Vape. Link in the description to those guys. They're going to have it on sale on day of release, which is the 22nd, I believe. They're going to have it ready to go in stock. They are chomping at the bit, and that is going to be available on the 22nd, ready to go on there. And I think the recommended retail price, the price that they're putting it out at, is £70. So it's not crazy expensive as well. I think it's a really nice price point for what is an absolutely classy mouth to lung tank that's vaping perfectly well. Now, the other thing with this, if the original Kayfun Lite, they still have held their value, and they're still very sought after in sales pages and sales groups. Now, one of the things that has prolonged their life is how good they look with all the aftermarket bubble tanks and bubble glasses and all that. Smovesto have noticed that, and they've worked on that, and they are releasing several of these bubble tanks, and they're going to look really, really cool, and they're going to be out within a week or two of release. So check out all of those. Ultim bell cap, they've got a clear bell cap, there's a bell cap that ups the capacity, There's the dome and the bell, I believe, and one ups the capacity and one just makes it look even sexier. So you'd have lost your top fill capability if you'd have got one of those anyway, and I definitely recommend checking those out if you're thinking about getting one, because they look super, super cool. So yes, so check those out. It's going to be aftermarket products available as well for those. In terms of the deck and the build and all that, if you've ever built a Kayfun before, you're going to have no issue with this. There's always been the simplest RTA ever. They even managed to make it even simpler this time with the wicking method. Because it's now sat on a dome, you can just poke your cotton straight through. It doesn't particularly matter how much cotton you have, as long as you're not stuffing it in there, you're just sitting it in there. It works every time, and because it's a mouth lung tank, its wicking needs aren't super demanding anyway, and it wicks and vapes, you know, absolutely effortlessly. It's really cool that they've even managed to simplify it even further and make it even easier to wick. So in terms of like negatives and things like that, you've got to consider, obviously it doesn't have top fill. Some people won't like that. Obviously if you're in the UK TPD, it's 2 mil capacity, and some people might not be happy with that, but do remember this is a mouth to lung tank. I'm at 12 watts with this. 2 mil capacity, 2 mil's going to last me a long time at 12 watts, especially, you know, with your Nick salts in here and all that sort of stuff. So again, that is no issue for me at all. But that is something that people might not like. I'm struggling for negatives. The adjustable airflow, some people might think that's a bit backwards, that you have to take it upside down and get a flathead to adjust the airflow. But in my opinion, you know, it's a set it and forget it type of tank. It's not the type of tank that you're going to be constantly adjusting that airflow. You're going to have your airflow exactly like how you want it from mouth to lung. You're going to set it once in your whole life, and that is it. So I think that's a nice touch as well, but that could be considered a negative. But beyond that, I just think it's great. I just think it's a great mouth to lung vape. I think it's a great tank. I think it's really good looking. I think it's really cool that it's going to, all these bell caps are going to be available. I just think it's great. I think it's a great tank. I think it's a great vape. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really impressed with the changes that they've made, and I think it's good. I think it's really good. So there we go. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.